NFL rumors and news made possible by Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com/chat. They'll save you 20% off. Get a fantastic deal on all the best men's grooming tool out there. Let's take a look at the latest NFL news here, Harrison. Matthew Stafford has been placed on the COVID-19 list.
Yeah, not great. And a couple of months ago, if you remember, this was one of the first big NFL names that we thought had tested positive. At the time, that ended up being a false positive. Now, this does not mean he has the coronavirus. What this means is he has been in close contact with someone who has tested positive. Doesn't sound like it's someone within the building, by the way, someone in his personal life, a family member, a friend. We'll find out more details soon, I am sure. But what everybody wants to know is, what's his status for Sunday going to be like? Obviously, he'll have to have a couple of negative tests for COVID-19 over the next few days. There's still time between now and Sunday, but even if he does play, he'll miss a couple of key practices here.
Yeah, what's going on here with the way the NFL has kind of adjusted and changed their protocols as things have gone along here is that Stafford had the high-risk, close contact situation, non-team member, by the way.
Yep.
The contact was on Monday, which means if he posts negative tests throughout the week, he would be eligible to play against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday, which that Lions team needs him to have much of a chance.
And that's a must-win if you're Detroit and you're still trying to win in 2020. You're 3-4. The Vikings are 2-5, 2-6, whatever it is. You can't afford to lose to Minnesota if you're trying to win. You fall to 3-5, forget it, because the Bears already have 5 wins. The Packers have 6 wins already, or 5 wins as well. And more than that, Tom, the NFC wildcard race, it is dense. There are a lot of teams in there, and if Detroit wants to be in the mix for one of those, teams like Minnesota, you got to beat them. Simple as that, and that's going to be hard to do without Matthew Stafford. But welcome back, Chase Daniel. He always finds a way to play a game or two from time to time.
Chase Daniel has made so much money playing 1 or 2 games a year as a backup quarterback. It's awesome.
The dream job. Chase Daniel's got about $50 million in the bank. I think he's made about $5 million per start in his career, something like that.
Wild.
It's been wild. Hopefully Stafford's ready to rock on Sunday, but as of now, he is on the COVID-19 list.
Let's move on now to Takk McKinley, who, look, he's not getting traded. Deadline's over. Stop asking about him in the comments section, guys. He tweeted out the Falcons, rejected a second-round pick for him last year, and that they've also declined a handful of offers, and they passed on a 5th and 6th offer this year for him. It's wild.
Let's just go through the 2 tweets. So this first one was the day before the trade deadline on Monday. He said, the @Atlanta Falcons, always love when players at their own social media account, or team account, by the way, aren't trading me. They have declined a handful of offers. Just apparently everybody's lining the truck up for Takk McKinley. Then he had this one, Tom, the one you referred to, this one earlier today, saying the Falcons turned down a second-round pick when I requested a trade last year. Fake news. No one was trading a second for him. The same Falcons turned down a 5th and 6th draft pick from multiple teams when I requested a trade this year. Then he dunks on himself and says, I have only 17.5 career sacks, basically saying, like, I stink. Just get me out of here. Like, what does that mean? Like,
why didn't you trade me? I'm bad at football. What a weird flex.
It's one of the more bizarre situations. And now you've got Raheem Morris, because, of course, he's asked about this. And this is the last thing the Falcons' interim head coach wants to deal with. But he says, look, this is immaturity. And right now it's just an immature way to act about the situation. He will definitely be held accountable for his actions. He also said he won't be able to help us against Denver. That was the terms. That tells me they're holding him out for this game.
He's already been a bit banged up. This might just be, okay, you're sitting.
This is kind of like Michael Thomas a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're just going to hold you out of this game. Exactly. And look, he has not been the first-round prospect that they were hoping they would get a couple of years ago. He's clearly going to sign somewhere else this offseason. But I wonder, do you just cut your ties at this point?
You can't. You absolutely can't, because you should have just taken the draft pick then. Like, otherwise, what are you doing?
Or maybe he was wrong and no one wanted him.
I feel like I don't. First off, Falcons had a second-round offer for him last year. What are they doing?
They definitely did not.
I actually don't believe that. So no, you don't cut Takk McKinley. You just let him continue to go ahead and play and hope that he ends up giving you some value and potential comp pick down the road. But you guys can get your votes in here. Y for yes, N for no. While you're voting, if you haven't already, maybe take care of yourself down there. I know Harrison's now wife has made a big deal about that in the past. It's manscaped.com/chat. Get the Lawnmower 3.0. That is the single best men's grooming tool out there. You can shave down there without cutting yourself. It's going to make everything look better and a little bit bigger as well. 20% off and free shipping when you head over to manscaped.com/chat. You can find all of their men's grooming tool products on there, including the Lawnmower 3.0. Check the comments, check the description. We'll make sure manscaped.com/chat. That link will be in there. Let's talk Thursday Night Football here, which may or may not be in jeopardy. Kendrick Bourne tested positive, Harrison.
Yeah, and if you are subscribed to our 49ers report, you probably got a more deeper in look at this earlier from our guy Thomas Mott. But Bourne is tested positive. Reports flying this morning, someone's tested positive. Facility is shut down. Well, that turned out to be Kendrick Bourne. No practice today, obviously. Game's tomorrow. Yeah. Which, by the way, the Packers
are flying out.
Well, and they're light, too. Jamal Williams is unavailable because of a contact tracing situation in Green Bay. So they're already short-handed. A.J. Dillon as well. Who you got, assuming this game happens, GB or San Francisco? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments section. But I think it's fair to think, Tom, that this game, I think it'll happen, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
I think it is, but if they get another positive test tomorrow, then I think they kind of have to because they're worried about it spreading even more.
Same day. If someone tests positive on the day of, I think they have to scrap the game. I mean, what are you going to do?
The contract tracing seems to be working, but, I mean, there's still a lot that we don't fully understand. So we'll find out what happens. In the meantime, everyone in the comments, get your votes in. Who you got, assuming the game gets played on Thursday Night Football. Type GB for the Green Bay Packers. Then type in SF for the 49ers. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you might get the ad break here. Scroll on down and get your votes in. And coming up after that ad break, Harrison here is going to run you through the latest on Mitchell Trubisky's injury for the Chicago Bears.
Mitchell Trubisky injury news on the Chicago Bears. There's a lot going out. Earlier on, Chicago Bears now put out a video. Maybe should they go back to Trubisky? Dan Orlovsky thought so. Should they stick with Nick Foles? That's what the Bears' plan was. Well, now apparently it does not really matter because Trubisky supposedly has a shoulder injury that he suffered against the Saints. This is kind of a bizarre situation because he only played in one snap, had a zone read quarterback keeper, got tackled pretty standard, didn't look like anything extra there, and then all of a sudden 3 days later, he's got a shoulder injury in his throwing shoulder. Seems somewhat suspicious to me. I mean, I'm not going to doubt what the team is saying, what Mike Garafolo is reporting, but it's a little interesting. Here's more from Garafolo. Mitch Trubisky came in for a snap on Sunday in the first quarter. Turns out he got hurt in that game, that he's undergoing evaluations to see how significant the injury is, but they are concerned that there is some potentially significant structural issues in his throwing shoulder. If you remember, 2 years ago, he had a right shoulder injury as well. Last year, he had the left shoulder injury with the collarbone. Here's what Matt Nagy had to say after practice. By the way, Trubisky did not practice today, and reports are, the Bears haven't said this, but NFL Network's reporting Trubisky's going to miss at least a couple of weeks, saying he's currently rehabbing things and working on it in that way. It's unfortunate, and I know he's bummed out. He kind of landed on it weird. Kind of a vague answer there, but sounds like Trubisky's going to be unavailable. And I've told you guys on Chicago Bears Now plenty of times, if you're not subscribed over there, youtube.com/Bears Now is the place for you. This is it for Trubisky in Chicago. Will he take another snap in Chicago? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. I say 0 for no. I think he's done. When they declined his fifth-year option, I thought it was pretty clear that his future in Chicago was dead unless he balled out this season. That did not happen. He was up and down the first few weeks. And just, you look at his career trajectory, 2017 as a rookie, you flushed it out the window. He's a rookie. 2018 showed some promise, right? And we've documented this several times on this show. 2019, though, regressed. Dealt with the left shoulder. Didn't look like the same guy this year. Inconsistent in the pocket. No real improvement there at diagnosing defenses. Bears decided to make the switch to Nick Foles, and they have been committed to keeping him as the starter. The reports are that they don't want to go back to Trubisky. They feel like that ship has sailed. maybe they're self-generating or over-exaggerating a very minor injury to making it seem like more than it is. I don't want to speculate, but I didn't hear anything after the game on Sunday, and now Trubisky has a shoulder problem. I don't know. It's weird. Foles is the guy. I wouldn't expect that to change this year. Now, the Bears need to address the long-term answer at quarterback this offseason, whether that's with the free agent or with the draft pick. But for the rest of 2020, I would expect Nick Foles to be your starter, barring an injury to him. Now, the Bears are working out a couple of quarterbacks, which does tell me there's probably at least a little bit something with Trubisky that he's dealing with. Jake Rudock, they're working him out. He's bounced around a little bit, been with the Dolphins most recently. Kyle Sloter, preseason legend, the 2017 UDFA, spent time with the Lions and the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. These guys aren't going to give you anything. They're practice bodies, a guy you could put on the practice squad because you'll probably elevate Tyler Bray to be the backup for at least this week. We will see what happens there, but Mitch Trubisky apparently dealing with a shoulder injury, and for you Bears fans who want Trubisky to start, that's not going to happen, at least not in the near future. So who is going to win the NFC North? I think it's mostly a two-team race. Maybe Detroit gets in there. If you think it's going to be the Bears, type CHI. The Packers, you can type GB. If you think it's going to be the Detroit Lions, type DET. Or the Minnesota Vikings, type MIN. Go ahead and cast your votes down in the comments section.
Thank you for that, Harrison. Let's talk injuries now, or I should say continue to talk injuries. Christian McCaffrey, is he finally going to return?
It seems to be trending that way. Full participant at practice today, Tom. He was in
on a Wednesday. That's important.
Yeah, on a Wednesday, full pads and everything. I would say yes. I think.
But are they going to bench him or start him over the better back?
Yeah, the better Mike Davis, of course.
Still.
Of course. Mike Davis has been really good. He has been serviceable. But I will say this. Carolina is one of those teams that I don't think you want to. I think you want to try and win every game, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not like the Giants or something, or the Jets or someone like that. Matt Rule's building a culture. That's very, very clear. So you should try and put your best out there against a team like Kansas City. See how you stack up. See how you play. You've lost 3 in a row here. You get your best player on offense back potentially in this game. I think you take a swing and see if you can, make something happen in Kansas City, and that would be a big boost to their offense, even if Mike Davis has been serviceable.
And Davis has been a good football player, 350 yards on the ground, 244 through the air. He's been a nice find for them.
Definitely, yeah.
But I still think you can make at least an argument that Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL, despite my joking comments earlier. Who do you guys think it is? Let me know in the comments section. And Harrison, I'll put you on the spot here. Who is it?
I still think if I'm building a modern offense, I would pick McCaffrey.
Because he's almost a slot receiver.
Yeah, he can give you 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving. What else do you want? Now, if I'm building a downhill running attack, play action attack, maybe I go Derrick Henry. I think it's down to those two at this point. I think those are the two guys at this point, but I would go with McCaffrey because he's probably a top 20 receiver in the NFL in addition to being a really good running back.
As a reminder, if you haven't already, you guys should probably hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you stay updated on everything around the NFL. The trade deadline might be over, but we are now inching closer and closer to draft season and, of course, the playoff picture as well. And we'll keep you covered on everything around that. So for all the new watchers out there or the 50% who watch and aren't subscribed, Let's end that. Hit that big red button and sub today. Let's hit some Buccaneers notes here, especially around the receiver spot. Antonio Brown had his first practice. He might play more with Chris Godwin, who we'll get to, by the way.
Yeah, we'll go a little quicker here. AB made his first practice. The chat over the weekend. He's living with Tom Brady. Where have we seen that before? But he was actually out there running around with his teammates, catching balls, all that stuff. And I was kind of surprised. Actually met with the media. I did not anticipate this. Here's what he had to say.
He's always been fine with the media. It's Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's a problem. I've been spending a lot of time working on myself, being resilient, even when times got hard, staying in shape, not listening to the naysayers. Good people around me to stay encouraged. I tried to check every box to make sure I was ready to go. I will say this recently, hasn't been messing around on social media. Maybe living with Tom Brady has actually had a positive impact on his return. And hey, if he can keep his head screwed on straight, you're talking about the best wide receiver trio in the NFL potentially.
Oh, I think by a significant margin.
Assuming AB's still AB.
Yeah, even though Mike Evans hasn't quite been same prime Mike Evans, but that's okay. So are you guys rooting for Antonio Brown? Get your votes in here. AB for yes, or type in FAB for no. We'll let you guys get your votes in here.
See, I feel like there's, America loves a second chance, right?
Yeah, America loves a good.
This isn't a comeback story to me, though.
Not? Okay.
Like, this is FAB for me. Like, I'm not actively rooting against the guy, but I'm going FAB.
Does rooting for him means he turned his life around and becomes a better player? Because I think the answer is yes, and therefore I'm voting yes.
I'm okay if that happens. I'm just saying, like, he's done a lot of bad stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm going FAB here. Tom is going the other way.
Now, let's see a lot of FABs in the comments there. He might need to play more because, well, Chris Godwin's status is unknown, although he might be able to play somehow. They're going to give him a chance.
Fractured finger. Bruce Arians said Friday we'll know more, Tom. I would put this at 25%. I still don't think it's very likely, but that's greater than zero. The way Arians talked, he did not rule out the possibility, and if these guys can all get healthy, I think the key here, Tom, is if AB comes in, is a pro, and does things the right way, which we'll see if that happens, this trio heading into the playoffs, who's going to want to play this team? Not me.
You got Scotty Miller out there, too, having some success.
Yeah, he's having a great year.
So who is the best Bucs receiver? Type me for Mike Evans, CG for Chris Godwin, AB for Antonio Brown. I think this year only, it's actually been Chris Godwin.
I think with Tom Brady, it's Chris Godwin.
Yeah, and when he's been healthy.
Stronger arm quarterback, probably Mike Evans, but I will go with Chris Godwin. I think he's that slotty possession type of receiver that Brady likes at this point in his career.
Keep your votes coming there, folks. Emmy for Mike Evans, CG for Chris Godwin, AB for Antonio Brown. We did want to briefly hit Vic Beasley. We'll get more in depth into him later. The Titans did officially release him today. He signed a 1-year, $9 million deal in free agency and then was late to training camp. I don't think he was in great shape. He struggled this year. And the Titans just said, I'm out. We're done.
They're moving on. They probably tried to find a trade for him. Didn't happen. And the production, it's just not been there.
The pressure rate is below 10%. That's normally not a good number for NFL players. Did have a forced fumble, though. I think you're right. Tennessee tried to shop him. Now they're hoping, they were hoping if they release him because he has to go through waivers since it is post-NFL trade deadline, maybe someone picks him up. It's around $3 million or so left in base salary.
Don't think it's very likely.
Maybe someone claims him and they save some money. If not, well, they're just cutting the fat off.
And we will see because he would be set to clear waivers, 4 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. So we will find out in the next 24 hours or so stay tuned for that.